Once you grasp this truth that I'm about to tell you, it'll set you free from religion. It'll set you free from parents and moms and family and governments and police, everybody. It'll set you free. And it's simply this: you are divine. God has exploded in a Crab Nebulae explosion, and he has come and manifested himself as billions of people. And you're one of you, and so am I. When I look at you, I see God. When you look at me, you see God. That's why God's name is I Am. I am God. It doesn't mean that me, God. It means I am. When you say I am God, you have to say, what is God's name? I am. What? I am God. Oh my God, then all the people, Christians run around, I told you they think they're God. I don't think anything on the side. No, Jesus Christ said, the scripture says you are God, and the scripture cannot be broken. So he said it.
Yeah, like I'm not third album.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascending Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. If you want your weekly astrology sent to you a week ahead, you can become a Patreon member by going to my website or clicking in the links down below. And welcome to all my new subscribers. And thank you for all my subscribers who return to watch me each and every time I come on here talking crazy. We're really going to get into it today, y'all. So I'm continuing my series for 2024 astrology. I tried to find different creative ways to bring up these topics so that when I talk about them again, it's not so repetitive. But nonetheless, these are going to be pretty repetitive because Jupiter, the Jupiter trine Pluto video I did was about Gemini and Mercury. This one I'm doing is Mercury retrogrades and fire signs. And I'm gonna do the Gemini and Jupiter transit alone. And so since the last video I discussed talking about how I was watching an astrologer and he was discussing that there are so many different ways to look at Mercury retrogrades other than the fact that, they're just about, not doing anything, not making any decisions and all that other stuff. I decided to do a little bit on that and what he was talking about a little further. And so I hope you find this information helpful. Family, please like, share, and subscribe if you find this information helpful. As you may or may not know, the more likes, shares, and comments, it helps put us in the algorithm as we are trying to grow. And so Mercury retrogrades and fire signs for 2024. Mercury retrogrades are connected to the Star of David. Every third time Mercury goes retrograde, it picks up the energy from the previous 11 months. Now, I know y'all are saying, who the hell remembers their life from 11 months? If you're on this channel, hopefully you're not just here to listen to me flap my lips. And you're actually doing the work and being intentional about these things. And you'll get the opportunity to really do that by taking notes, journaling, and things of that nature. You can also do your own research and double check, recheck, triple check my work and get your own theories from what you believe this information to be about. But for example, in 2020, we had Mercury retrograde in Pisces. 11 months later, Mercury went retrograde in Aquarius. So each of these configurations create a Star of David formation in the sky. The Star of David, still used as a sacred symbol by the Jews today, is based on the horoscope of King David, who was born with two grand trines, which creates the six-pointed star. This symbol was used to intimidate his enemies because the symbol was engraved in his armor, which was said to make him unbeatable, right? And so he got a pretty big reputation for that. Now, as most of you may or may not know, Most of astrology is based off of the Bible, and there is nowhere to be found the story of King David in the Bible. However, there is King Solomon, and he is the son of King David. And so, either way, whatever you believe, it I feel like they're both saying the same. They're actually both the same exact stories. Either way, the story is that he mastered his witchcraft. He followed the teachings of God, and in doing so, he was blessed by being the richest man in the entire world, even still to this day. He had an army that was pretty massive and large, and they were pretty unbeatable. And he had 200 wives or 2,000 wives. He partied a lot, like literally every single day, all day. And he worked with demons. So most of the people who see the Star of David might see it as a demonic symbol because it represents a 666. If you break down each triangle, there's meanings within that equals out to 666. And now Mercury alone outside of the story of King David. If I've done the astrology on the mythology on astrology in another video, I don't remember what video that was. It's a long time ago, somewhere between 2020 and 2021. But I talked about how Mercury is the signs of the twins, which is the story of Pollux and I don't know why I always forget the second twin's name. Luster, Pollux, and Luster, whatever. Um, Basically, if you go back and do your research and listen to that video, or just do your research in general, that story is based off of two twins who were in battle, and one of the twins died in battle, and he was sent to hell. And the other twin got permission to be able to go in and out of both realms, meaning he got permission to be able to travel to the underground, to talk to his brother, to get messages from his brother to bring back to the people. And that's why Mercury is known as the messenger. And so when you get into the deeper meaning of um, the six-pointed star, 666, the Star of David or Solomon, however you want to call it. Essentially, when you get into esoteric astrology, it's all about being able to break down the stories into practical, real meanings. You also have to study esoteric knowledge to understand that. And so it's just storytelling, just like the Bible. The Bible is based off of mythological stories so that you can understand how to be a philosopher in life, to live your life on the right path, et cetera, which is no different than mastering listening to, hearing, and being conscious enough to know who's speaking to you and when. This is why Gemini is also known as the demon and the angel on each shoulder, whispering in your ear, telling you things. These things could be played out through the people you keep company with. Gemini is known as dual energy. Geminis are always um, absorb other people's energy, and that's how they get to know people, and relate to people and understand people, and good or bad, right? And so typically they are followers. They can be seen as followers or people who are copycats, um, in that kind of way with the dual energy. And so I feel like a lot of that esoterically is within that Star of David, and it's kind of what people misunderstand with that 666 energy. The 666 is representative of the devil. Let's not be naive enough to think that there is no such thing as demons in the way or by way of bad things happening, or once you hang with the wrong crowd, you become that and you start to absorb that energy to the point of now you're off track. You're no longer within the light, you're in the darkness. Um, so picking up bad habits through another way to look at Mercury is that Mercury rules children. And how children learn is through observation because they can't really speak well, right? And so Gemini is not just about communication, but it's also about observation and learning through observation and pictorial ways and stories and through watching people, right? And so you see people say about children, monkey see, monkey do, right? And this is how they learn, and that's how they become grow up to have certain habits and behaviors because of what they learned or the environment that they grew up in. Um, um, Gemini is very much your neighborhood and learning through your neighborhood and the people that you grow up around, siblings, neighbors, and things of that nature, right? Even classrooms, it's childhood education, and things of that nature. So when I hear a lot of these things, again, it's just being wise enough, having common sense enough, or being conscious enough to know what to follow and what not to follow. Are you listening to the devil or are you listening to the angel? Um, I'm trying to think, what else can I say about this? Um, it's about having a deeper connection with your spirit guides, knowing who your spirit guides are. Again, just being able to differentiate good messages from bad messages, or even understanding that when you go through something that is traumatic, bad, or what quote unquote can seem bad, are just lessons that you're meant to learn through. I often, and I know I talk about this a lot, I can probably use other examples in my life, but um, I think this is just the worst thing that I've been through. So that's why I use it a lot. But, my experience of going to prison, honest to freaking God, like, talk about the most innocent person in the world. I wasn't that innocent, but definitely didn't deserve to do time in prison. But um going through that experience made me feel like I really was the devil, like I was doing the wrong thing. Like, how did I get here? What was I thinking? Why did I do that? And that's when you go through the dark night of the soul, right? And even though that's more scorpionic energy, I'm reflecting on the fact that the twins have that connection to that scorpionic energy in that way, that it has access to the underworld to go visit his brother to bring messages back up, right? And so that's why they say, um, if you've ever had any religious experience, I grew up religious, and even the AA community where you share your stories, repent, um, let people know what you've been through. Don't be shy or um, um, embarrassed about sharing those experiences, because you never know how many people you can save from going through the same thing that you've went through by sharing your experiences, right? And so that's another way that this can be looked at. Instead of seeing the things that you're going through here in this reality as bad, they're wake-up calls, they're lessons. It's essentially God saying, this ain't what I got planned for you. Do you know who you are? You are a star. You need to go on this path. And so if you're going down a wrong path, continuously making wrong decisions, eventually one of those wrong paths will wake you up to get you on your spiritual journey, to get you on the right track, to change your life and put you on the path that God has set up for you, right? Um, and in your chart, that's your MC. It's what God's plan for you. But most of our life, we live out our rising sign and our north node. And so that's another way that this can be looked at as well. again, you can take what you will from this, whether it's helpful or not. I surely hope that it is, but don't be afraid to do your own research and use your own personal experiences to fill in where these kinds of things may have happened to you in your life. And so within saying that, because he had 200 wives, partied so much, and worked with demons, people really didn't like that. They kind of seen that as him, dibbling and dabbling, and, kind of lost hope or faith in whose side was he really on. So a lot of people didn't stop messing with him like that. And he went on to, lose his way. He started worshiping the women, the gods that he was dating, or goddesses that he was dating, and he started worshiping them. He started worshiping his partying lifestyle, and worshiping the information and knowledge that he was getting from the demons, as opposed to, again, depending on the mastery that he had gotten from God, which had given him all this money, or blessed him with all this money and riches, and to be able to live in this lifestyle because he was spiritually conscious. He mastered magic. That was another theme that came up really heavy in the Star of David or Solomon, is that they they connected him working with demons as opposed to doing magic and rituals and things of that nature, when it really wasn't. Those were things that he got from God, but it just got seen as, or mixed up as, because he worked with demons, he was doing the devil's work. I'm going to say, because a lot of people, again, will relate the Star of David to the Jews, and, the fact that they have all this power because they do magic and things of that nature. But obviously, they're using it to have power and control over people, to stay in power, to keep us down, etc., etc. This is really their story, right? And how they kind of manipulate magic, the light and the dark, and confuse people, change the stories, to make it look like what they want it to look like, so that the real people of this energy, of this magic, don't get the recognition for who they really truly are, right? And we don't have to say names or get some specific. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay, it's the Negress. Okay. So anyway, no matter how you chop and screw it up, taking those things from the stories that I'm giving is decoding and being able to see that being played out in this reality, and how you can use magic to change your reality, to work more with the light energies and things of that nature, is the message, right? And so I think on a grand scale, um, we can see a lot of these themes being played out wherever you're at in this storyline. Because I can't remember how exactly really the story of Solomon or King David goes, but he had eventually got to the point where he started to admit that, all that partying and, going down the dark side, left him empty. And to have false happiness, he wasn't really happy. They were all very surface level needs. If this is not America, I don't know what the fuck is. Like, this is what this whole country is built off of, to keep us away from having real deep connections, solid connections, um, being vulnerable enough to even get into real solid connections like that. And not focusing on the surface levels things, or thinking that we need money, or partying all the time to get us the kind of things that we think we want, when it's a lot deeper than that. And so um this is just another way to look at retrogrades and ask yourself, what was going on for you 11 months prior, to know how this is going to work out for you. Another way to look at retrogrades is how are you wearing your armor, your spirituality, your, again, consciousness to know how to make better decisions. Mercury is definitely about being decisive and making good decisions. Because it's going to be in Jupiter, this can lead to luck and abundance, but that's a whole different video. I'll talking about that one next. But how are you using your philosophy, your day of life? How are you being a leader? How are you showing up as a role model? What are you teaching others that you've learned through your experiences? Um, um, yeah. Or what are you learning? Because Gemini is about learning and education, trades, vocations, and reading, doing lots of reading and writing, maybe telling your story through writing a book or things of that nature could come up in some way, shape, or form if you're not speaking it, or doing some kind of creative project that allows you to release this through your social media page or whatever, because Gemini definitely rules social media and things of that things of that nature. This could yeah. So it'll always highlight the same elements throughout the year, sometimes not all the time, but for the majority, for the most part, it's always in the same element. So it'll highlight 3 different houses, and because it's going to be in fire signs, it'll be your fire houses at Sag, Leo, and Aries. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at your chart to see where those areas are, how those storylines are being played out for you, etc., etc. Okay, so for 2024, the retrograde starts in Capricorn, the end of December 2023, and it'll go into January 2024 and end in Sagittarius. Then in April, it will be in Aries, and then in August, it will be in Leo, and then in November, it will be in Sagittarius, and we'll wrap up that Mercury lesson in November. So the last time we had Mercury in fire signs was 2018. So you can also think back to 2018 and what was going on for you. Fire signs can bring challenges. This can be embracing your competitive spirit, taking risks, being excited about the future. You can be changing your belief systems and having the strength to reach your goals. You can become more active or be getting more attention or getting rewarded for something. And understanding what fuels you, what motivates you to take action. Life is definitely going to speed up at this time because both not just that Mercury. So first of all, alone Mercury energy is fast. But in fire signs, fire energy is fast. And then every time it hits that north node, it aspects the north node. That's going to be, I feel like the next 18 months is going to go really, really fast because of this energy. It's going to like fly by, although it's been doing that anyways, I feel like, to be honest. But you can work on your intuition, communication, being playful, and your reaction to things, right? I'm trying to think if this could be anything else. I mean, I did specifically not go in that deep again because I will be talking about this again. And so I wanted to just come from a different perspective and just give you something to chew on and think about as we stay ahead here. We are very intentional about our future, changing and being prepared, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know what I'm talking about? Just saying. You better get it together. It will have a few different aspects, obviously, throughout all of the Mercury retrogrades. But Mercury in Aries will bring up more information again from the Aries eclipse and Chiron in Aries. Mercury and Leo will bring up more themes from the Venus star point. Now, I did talk about Venus star points. I want to say the beginning of 2022 or 2021. But if you don't know what the star point is and you haven't been following me that long and you don't feel like going back to look, because you definitely have to go on my other page for that anyway. Another way to think about the Venus star point is the Venus and Leo retrograde, which was a 6-month transit. Whatever was coming up for you, that is definitely going to be revisited at this time, in some way, shape, or form. And then Mercury in Sagittarius will bring up themes around traffic, travel, optimism, education, and greed. Mercury also rules travel and documents, apps, again, social media. And so a lot of these themes are going to be revisited in some way, shape, or form. We even might see a lot of these themes being played out on the world stage because Gemini does rule TV, television, again, messages. How are you getting messages to and from people, commerce? So the way we spend our money or what platforms we're spending our money on, like what's the name of that stupid PayPal's, the Venmos, there's like trillions of them at this point. But I can see a lot of changes with those apps, whether they become more popular or not so popular, or that, we're no longer using cash and we're getting into the Bitcoin stuff. We'll see. We'll track how those changes are going as we go through all these transits and whatnot. But yeah, man, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.